So if you've been restricting calories to lose weight and you've been really successful, but you're tired of restricting calories and you want to continue losing weight, you want to eat more, but you want to continue losing weight, this video is going to be for you, because in this video, I'm going to give you the step-by-step process to help you to be able to lose weight without having to restrict calories so much. Reach your goals, eat some of the foods you enjoy eating. Now, there will be required some sacrifice, but it is possible that you can restrict your calories less and still lose weight. So, one of my clients earlier this week in her coaching call, and I've been coaching her now, I believe, since November, and every week since November, or the majority of weeks since November, she's lost anywhere. She started at about a half a pound a week. Now we are now in April 9th to be exact. So she started at about a half pound a week. And then what happened was she wanted to go from a half a pound a week to a pound a week. So what did we have to do? We had to restrict her calories more. Now, we strategically did this with figuring out how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat, but bottom line is we had to restrict her more. So she was consistently losing about a full pound a week. She wanted to bump it up to a pound and a half. So what did we have to do? We had to restrict her even more. So this past Monday, she said to me, "You know what, coach? I'm tired of restricting my calories so much. I want to keep losing weight, but I want to eat more." And I said to her, I said, "How well do you know me?" And she said, "I don't know." So I said, we're gonna have a test here. I'm gonna put you through a test. I said, "What would you think my answer to that question would be?" And she almost immediately said to me, "Well, I guess you would say I need to exercise more." And I said, "Bingo. You want to eat more, you need to burn more. It's simple. Calories in, calories out. However, although with the simplicity of it, it can get very complicated. So I told her, here's the plan, what we're going to do. And this is what you can do to figure out, based on how much more exercise you do, how much more you can eat. So with this equation, you need to first burn more before you start to consume more, because the burning more is going to dictate how much more you can consume. So we're going to use simple math of a half a pound a week. So what I told her is we're going to do an extra 2 hours of cardio per week. Now, as an example, if that two hours of additional cardio per week, results in a half a pound of weight loss, a half a pound of additional weight lost, then that essentially would mean that additional 2 hours of cardio helped her burn 1,750 calories. And I believe that's the correct number, because half of 3,500, I believe, is 1,750. If I'm not correct, I'll put it up on the screen. But let's just go with that for now. Even if that's not correct, let's go with that for now. So that tells me that if we keep it completely simple, this would not necessarily help her lose more weight, but it would allow her to eat more and still maintain her current weight loss of a pound and a half per week. So if that extra 2 hours of cardio helped her lose an extra half a pound per week, that means she could essentially up her calories by 1,750 per week. Now, if I do the math, that would be an extra 200 and something calories per day, just off the top of my head. Again, I'll put that number on the screen. So I guess this video is going to be, I like to do these videos unedited, but there's going to be a little editing in this video. But anyway, so that would be, again, I'll put the number up on the screen, but let's just say an extra 200 calories per day. So this would allow her to essentially eat an extra 200 calories per day of almost anything she wanted to eat. Because just from a weight loss standpoint, and I always tell my clients, I'm not going to recommend you just eat anything. I'm always going to have have my clients focus on quality over quantity. So I would always recommend my clients make the smartest food choices and eat the best quality things. But essentially, if we're just looking at weight loss and we're talking about calories in, calories out, she could essentially take that extra 200 calories, eat whatever she wanted. She wanted to eat an extra 200 calories of Twinkies. She could do that. And she would still lose weight. Now, she wouldn't lose extra weight, but she would be able to maintain her current weight loss at 1.5 pounds per week while being able to eat a little bit more. Remember, it's a give and take. In order for her to be able to eat more and maintain weight loss, she needs to exercise more. Now, if we wanted her to lose even more, and again, this is an experiment. So I'm not saying that 2 hours of cardio equals an extra 0.5 pound. We are going to find out over the course of this week what an extra 2 hours of cardio would equal in weight loss. And then that is going to give us an idea of where we can go with her increased calories. So you can take that information and apply it to your situation. Now, one thing I would caution is don't change too many variables at one time. So what I mean by that is I wouldn't change your exercise. I wouldn't add 2 hours of cardio and then add an extra day of strength training and then add, I don't know, something else. Simply because the more variables you change at one time, the harder it is to know which of those variables accounted for how much of the result or the increased result that you get. So I would change one thing at a time. If it's strength training, add more strength training. See what the result is. If the result is not what you want, you got to go back to the drawing board and you got to do more. The reality is, if you want more, you're going to have to do more. The problem is a lot of people want more without having to do more. And that just is not the reality when it comes to weight loss. So if you want to lose more weight or you want to be able to maintain your current weight loss, but you want to eat more, this is your formula to be able to do that. Figure out how much more exercise you need to do. Figure out what that extra exercise equates to in weight loss. Now, also at the same time, I should mention that this also takes into consideration that you don't change anything else that you were doing. So you can't, excuse me, just getting over being sick. You can't go to adding an extra 2 hours of cardio, but then decrease your strength training by 1 day per week, because then that just throws off the ratios and the variables. So don't do that. But you figure out how much additional weight loss you get from doing X amount of extra exercise. And then again, it's simple math. 1 pound equals 3,500 calories. So then you do the math from there and you figure out how much extra calories you can eat per week, break that down per day, and then there you have it. Your solution to be able to eat more and either be able to maintain your current weight loss or be able to lose more weight. So if you need a further breakdown of that, you need help on your journey figuring that all out, click the first link below in the description, fill out the form, and the two of us will figure out how much more exercise you need to do to help you to be able to eat more and either still lose more weight or maintain your current weight loss.